Hello and welcome back to my review for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3, Episode 1. And is this episode worth your time? Well, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know because this episode is a slog to get through. It is very boring, and on top of being a boring episode, it's an extended episode, an hour long of just Carol and Daryl moseying around. The plot of this episode is very simple. Daryl and Carol are in England. They then meet Julian after being stuck in a flat for 2 days. They then peer pressure Julian into having Julian take them back to America, even though it's clear he doesn't want to go, but they really push. And these are meant to be the good guys, you know. They then, after leaving England with not much doing, they just end up getting to London. Nothing really happens. Have one Walker fight. Daryl has thick plot armor. They then peer pressure Julian, as I said. They're on the sea for a big chunk of the episode. They hit a storm, which is really dumb. And they crash land, or get beached, should I say, in north of Spain, which is a bit shocking because they were filming in Barcelona, which is in the south part of Spain, which is more Mediterranean. But then they're taking it and it's set in place in the north. They are very different climates. So I'm interested to see how the rest of the season plays out. Are they going to stay in the very north of Spain where it's very temperate and almost... The climate's a lot similar to France and England than the south of Spain, which is very Mediterranean, very deserty, very hot. So outside of the climate being a bit iffy, the plot of they go to England, they peer pressure a man, they get on a boat, the boat crashes, and they end up in Spain is very boring, and it shouldn't be an hour long. And then when they're up in Spain, you think the episode's going to end, it carries on for another 20 minutes. Big spoilers, I don't care enough about this episode. I will do big spoilers. They kill off Julian in his introduction episode. Really annoying. Stephen Merchant's a cool guy. You could have had him been the funny or comedic character of the season. Nope. As soon as they get to Spain, they're like, oh, we gotta write him off. Julian dies a mysterious death. He has the same injuries as Carol, by the way, and Carol survives with maybe an infection. She falls over and cuts her arm or back, and she gets like really badly hit in the face. She's fine. Julian dies because they're like, we don't need you anymore. We need a way so that Daryl and Carol can't get back to America. Kill off the guy they establish who barely knows how to use the boat. Poor writing. This episode also has a running gag, it seems, of Carol with some stupid hot dogs. It's just this weird thing that Carol keeps bringing up throughout the episode, and it got really boring really quick and really annoying. And that's how I would explain a lot of this episode. It is a little annoying, and definitely when they're in England, it was a weird thing I noticed with the cinematography. It reminded me of Fear Season 5, just how grey everything was with them in England. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it was all CGI and it was maybe a bit lifeless, but I really hated how the England part of this episode looked. It was definitely a lot more colourful when they're in Spain, but I didn't care by then because I already was bored out of my mind because of how slow and badly paced this episode is. Daryl and Carol were good, but not the entire episode. You had Carol talking about stupid hot dogs, as I've mentioned, and you had Daryl just kind of being there. I can't remember one notable thing Daryl does. And that's bad because I only watched this episode about an hour ago. So how have I forgotten everything about Daryl? Because he just kind of is there. So let's talk about my conclusion because I'm done talking about this episode. Overall, my thoughts on The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3 Episode 1 are not good. And I would say that this is a boring and empty episode. Why make it an hour long? Why make this episode so slow? And I'm going to have to give this a 3.5 out of 10. I just can't justify even giving it a 4 because I have seen more interesting episodes of The Walking Dead World Beyond, and the later seasons of Fear the Walking Dead sometimes are more interesting than this episode. It's such a shame we came off from such a great Season 2 of Dead City to come into Season 3 of Daryl Dixon, and the first episode, in my opinion, is my least favourite of this entire show so far. But as always, it's just my personal opinion, so please tell me down below. What did you think about The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3 Episode 1? Did you like it, or were you like me, thinking that it is way too long, way too empty, and way too boring? Please tell me down in the comments. So thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you later.